I turn around, it's something for you.
Introduce myself. I'm Tyler Furby.
Oh! I already hit him. I already said something. I already said something.
You just never know.
You go out to eat with him. You go out to eat.
When? No, I was upstairs.
Oh, okay.
He's not coming here.
Yeah.
He's stuck behind the wreck on the 4th. 528. He's calling in there.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Oh,
This is the, see, this goes over. See the benefits to the classes with regards to like what their disabled is.
Right.
So like if you have crowns and the bridges are all under class 3. So this is what'll pay.
Hey, Ralph. Good, how you doing?
So
Good to see you.
those are a lot more.
Good, sir. How you doing?
50% after deductible, which is only deductible.
You're hanging in there.
Yeah, but what you can do is you can just
Here for tonight.
Steve, the one that Ralph's talking to.
You want to hit whatever one's better
Ralph
first,
was talking to Steve.
and then do
Yeah, that's a problem.
secondary.
Side by side.
Try to get one that way.
Yeah,
That's your typical card.
that's a problem.
You'll get a new one in the mail.
Great.
How you feeling?
Okay.
It's a good meeting to go to.
okay.
Steve, how's it going? Good. You know what I'm talking about? Okay. I'll see you later.
Oh, wait, yeah.
John?
I'll follow up later on too. One of the girls, Maria, that was really being there,
Uh-huh.
her daughter,
I've heard of them. Yeah.
was at her time when
Right. Wow.
she's been selected to possibly build a building. So she's going to
Right.
and I was thinking all the way to Rockbridge.
That's right.
Right. And she's got selected by the race.
Yeah, I've been tracking her to see her reputation to go.
Wow.
28 years.
Wow.
It's so funny. You talk to people about
Well, let me know when it gets closer to her going.
I 2 seconds like I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. Okay. Well, let me know. That's right.
Hello, John.
Always.
How the heck are you? Still alive. Against all those guys. There you go. Against all those guys who are against it.
Okay.
Yeah. Seems like. Yeah. Huh? We don't know. Anything could happen. Anything could happen as far as I can tell. What do you have? Oh, good.
Hey, you know, they're in. I was talking to them. I know they don't do it all the time, you know, every week. Or every weekend, because no, we would rent it and put our equipment there. So and leave it and then do it. I just want to know what it is.
You like it, didn't you?
Oh, it's just like, it's like,
Yeah. But you know, no, he's
Sir, yes, sir.
south.
Sir, yes, sir.
Making barely. We could get why not? Like,
Johnny Boy. Johnny Boy here, ladies.
How you doing?
I could, yeah, email.
I didn't get
He was doing information. It was going to city.
his wife.
I know. Congratulations.
You're on the back. You're on the middle.
Yeah, wait, you ladies did the right thing. Uh-huh.
You're done over Christmas. You got to North Carolina.
Main conference room. Okay. All right, well, thank you.
Okay.
Are you getting ready to come up?
Finally, I had to take it over to Robert. Are you getting network error?
No, I'm not. You won't do anything.
Dawn, yeah.
Oh, now.
She's in the back row on the left, the blonde. Yeah.
Everyone went to that.
Yeah. Did you watch the meeting?
yeah.
It's fixed it now.
Did you see a problem with the meeting?
Well, I don't
I was
know.
asking.
Well, it needs to go to the Board of Adjustment. It's just not so,
Oh, John. Oh,
go to the Board of Adjustment.
it just wasn't.
Right, before they got
I'm just saying,
Yeah, I know.
if you hit the shot, they come early and they have that fight.
Is it the one in Orlando or was it out here? Yeah. I went to that one a couple of years ago.
Well, people do a lot of last minute shopping when they're going on cruise. So Walmart would probably get an increase.
To the right of
Where Don's at. Well, there's the strip mall right there at Publix. There's all those restaurants there by Publix, yeah. And there's that little strip, you know, the McDonald's is right there, and there's a little strip right there.
Okay, you.
Got a nail salon and stuff.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
yeah.
You there?
It's good.
Can you hear me? Okay.
It is. It is.
How you doing, sir?
Very good, man. What's going on, brother?
Okay.
Not too much.
Is that the city manager?
What's up, Chief?
It's the attorney.
Oh, Paisano. What's going on, brother?
Everyone, unfortunately, there was a major accident on the B-line, and I passed International Corporate Parkway. So I'm not able to get over there this evening, so I will attend by phone.
Okay. Anthony, you hear me?
I can hear you, Mayor.
Okay. Everybody ready to go?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for coming this evening. And we're going to get going. Mr. Blake, would you do the invocation for us?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. Would everyone stand, please, ma'am? Please, sir. Secure your cell phones, pagers, etc., etc. Dear Heavenly Father, we'd like to thank you once again for providing us with life. We'd like to thank you for protecting our great nation and the men and women of our great nation. We just want to say thank you so much. If we had 10,000 tongues, we could not say thank you enough for blessing us. So we say this with your sweet son named Jesus. Everyone said amen.
Amen.
Amen. Long live Coco. Amen.
Face the flag. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay.
You can do it.
I see Don.
Done, maybe. All right, good.
I was just wondering who that was occupying that seat down there. No, it's Deputy Mayor.
There you go.
Deputy Mayor.
Okay, Carrie.
Mayor Parrish?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Bovair?
Here.
Councilman Blake?
Present, ma'am.
Councilman Furbish?
Here.
Councilwoman Warner?
Here,
City Attorney Garganese?
here telephonically.
I got you.
There's a delay. There's a
Yeah,
delay is
there
what it
is.
is. Yep.
City Manager Takanich and Assistant City Manager Fuhr.
Here.
Thank you.
All right. And so we'll go to the approval of the,
Motion
Agenda?
to approve the agenda and minutes as presented.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right. Move on down to delegations. Kathy from the sister city, are you here? Yep, good. Your last name?
You don't have that yet. Marty,
have that.
Marty Rosian.
That's right. Marty Rosie.
Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, council members. Thank you for the opportunity to share an update with you. The ongoing programs and activities of our Sister City program. As you know, the program started in 2007 to increase the love and understanding between our nation and the nation of Israel through citizen delegations and diplomacy. Just wanted to update you on what was going on in the fall. So it's mostly pictures of kids and happy people, so that's a good way to start the whole evening off. We were very busy in the fall with two of our major programs. Okay, make sure I'm going to hit this right. First was our 6th annual golf tournament. We had this one at Suntree Country Club. This year, we had over 90 golfers and more sponsors than we have ever had before. So we were very excited about this. This enabled us to make fairly significant donations, which we did. We were able to give $6,100 each to the Brevard Sharing Center here in Brevard County, and to an equivalent charitable organization over in our sister city in Beit Shemesh, Israel, the Karen Shemesh Foundation. So we were extremely excited about those checks. Today, we've given over $30,000 to the Brevard Sharing Center through this golf tournament. So we're very excited. We also had our 5th annual Art and Writing Showcase. 32 Brevard schools were involved, 96 art entries we had from the students, 33 writing entries. Here you see a picture of the Cocoa High School color guard. Merritt Island Christian School, if any of you have seen those kids perform, a lot of fun, always a big hit. So, and all of their families that were here to support them. So it was a packed house that day at the Cocoa Civic Center. These are some of the older kids. Quite a celebration this year. Probably the best we've ever had, I've seen. Very exciting. We had the Brevard Youth Chorus there, and all of their families and friends and supporters. We had Cocoa High School Strings. And my personal favorite, Salvation Army of North Central Brevard. These are my ladies who were dancing and performing. They did a special version of the Hatikva, Israel's national anthem, that they wrote and choreographed. Multi-talented. And even the audience got to join in and dance. So that was pretty exciting. That was a lot of fun. These are some of the kids actually reading their works. This was the first time we've done that. It was a great success, and we will do it again. Ribbons and cash awards were given to the students.
Excuse me.
And our distinguished guest. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Councilmember Blake, for showing up. We also had here pictured Mayor Malka, the representative from our sister city in Beit Shemesh. So, all of the board members and supporters are looking forward to another great year. We have some exciting things in the works, which I think may include another trip over to Israel at the end of this year. So I hope, Mayor, you're going to brush up on your Hebrew between now and then.
You ready? with an interpreter.
Exactly, that's right. If I can do it, you can do it. So, does anybody have any questions about our program, about the big events that we did? That's, like I said, that was our 5th annual on the writing showcase and the 6th annual golf tournament.
When do you do your golf tournament? What, spring?
In the fall.
In the
That was
fall.
in the fall. Both of these events were in the fall.
Okay.
Yes.
What's your next event coming up?
Well, that's what we're planning right now. So as soon as I have that solidified, I will be back. Okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you.
I don't know what I hit here to get this off.
Oh, yeah, they'll take care of it. Kathy, thank you. Very good. Clark Dowling?
Either one.
Good evening. I'd like to thank council for their time this evening.
Good evening.
In September, October last year, I rented some property from Mr. Perone just for 7 weeks to open a Halloween store. And during that time, I proceeded to get a $3,200 water bill from the water department. We had a unit that only has 1 toilet and 1 sink. It didn't start out that way, but that's how it ended up. So we're here tonight to ask the council for their consideration in lowering that to what it should be, which is about $50 or $75.
Let me add a little information. This is a strip center where there's about 20 units, and every suite is approximately 765 square feet, and each one has its own individual water meter. He rented 2 individual suites, number 23 and number 24. They each have 1 toilet and 1 sink. Number 23, the water bill was in the
$35 to $50.
$35 to $50 range. Number 24, the water bill was in the over $3,000 range. I don't have the exact numbers. When I was notified, it was on a Sunday. He called me in a panic. I told him to go to Home Depot and get one of those tools and turn the water meter off, which he did. We sent our maintenance man out there who was a plumber for 8 years. We went out there, turned the meter back on. The meter was spinning at a rapid speed. However, there was no evidence of any water in the suite. The toilet was not running. The sink was not running. There was no water coming out from under the floor. To this day, honestly, we have no idea where the water went. We since have, now the meter was right at the wall where the toilet and the sink was. So we replumbed it up the wall on the back of the building into the suite and replumbed to the toilet and sink, turned the meter back on. The meter's not spinning. We have no idea where it went, what happened, but that's an immense amount of water.
Almost 200,000 gallons.
Yeah.
And not one drop showed up anywhere.
No flooding.
Not a drop, no watermark from the wall.
Ralph, did you call the city to come out? Or Clark, did you call the city?
From what I understand, once the meter reader came out and read that the first time, the initial bill was about $2,300. And he sent that to billing. From what I understand, the water department, when you get an excessive bill, they're supposed to notify you immediately, and they never did. So the whole second half of that, up to the $3,000, could have been avoided if we would have been notified. We could have shut it off right away.
Yeah. Terry, isn't there an automatic in place, automatic shut-off?
Automatic cutoff for the
You know,
meter?
yeah, if there's like a lot of water being used.
No.
I mean,
It has to be noticed. Matt has had several meetings with Laura, and I believe with either this gentleman or someone, he's well versed and he can help you with the conversations that they have.
We'll let Matt talk, yeah.
Matt, go ahead.
Yeah, it's essentially, the reading from October 7th came back with, you know, as you stated, about 110,000 gallons worth of water consumption. That did flag in our system. It's not something that our policy requires us to do. It's a service we offer because, you know, from a water conservation standpoint, we don't want to just treat water and put it back into the ground. And so we did send a field services member out. You know, it took them about 5 days. They were able to go on site, they verified that the meter was not moving at that time. And I know there had been some difficulty in communicating with Mr. Dowling. I believe the meter is situated near the rear of the business, and the field services member went to the meter initially, checked the meter, make sure if it wasn't spinning, verified the reading, and they knocked on the back door. Now, Mr. Dowling, operating a business, was unable to hear them, and I think in this case, we probably could have went around to the front door to make sure that we communicated with them. But
Did they see any water?
they didn't see any water. The meter was not spinning at that time.
How do you explain that? Huh.
In this was really just the start, and I can provide some more context to the situation. Essentially, on this property for Suite 24, the total bill for October and November was $3,262.32. Now, a portion of that is the city water. The other portion is the county sewer. We do have control over the city water. And in this case, what the city did do, due to the unique circumstances of this being a temporary business, typically when we offer a high consumption credit, we base that off of 6 months of consumption. This store was only in operation for approximately 7 weeks or 2 months, and so we used the suite adjacent to it, which it consumed around 1,000 gallons per month, and we based the water credit off of that, which amounted to the bill for October, November for just the water was $1,891.95, and we applied the water credit, bringing that bill down to $644.20. And in turn, we also reached out to the county because they have a high consumption form, which we sent to Mr. Dowling at the same time as our high consumption form. He filled it out and returned it to the county, and they subsequently denied the request. As soon as we found that out, given the unique circumstances, we reached out to the county staff, their finance director, and he provided 2 options for the business owner or the account holder to receive a water credit. And it was at that time that Mr. Dowling decided to essentially take his chances with city council. Of course, we strongly advise that we take at least at a minimum take the county up on their offer to apply the credit in the event that city council has no control over county sewer.
What did the county offer? I don't know.
They offered 2 options. One was, if you can provide the repair work for if there was indeed a leak, and if it's determined that the water didn't go down the sewer, there essentially would have no cost associated with that. So they would base their determination off of that. So you could receive a very substantial sewer credit.
Well, I do have pictures here of the repairs that were done, and I didn't get what you said about the repairs afterwards, about the meter. You said it was or was not spinning?
No, it was not spinning. Before the repairs were done, we went there, the meter was spinning, but there was no water running in the toilet or the sink. And we could find no evidence of any water. Afterwards, we replumbed the suite, which was very minor, because the meter was right there at the toilet in the bathroom, and turned the meter back on, and it wasn't spinning at all.
Which shows that the water was not running down the toilet into the sewer,
Well,
wherever the water.
what's the distance from the entrance to the building to where the meter sits?
About a foot?
Okay, so it's right up pretty much
Yes,
against
sir.
the building.
Yes, sir.
So my immediate thought is if 200,000 gallons float underneath that building somewhere,
Right.
there's some bad things gonna happen, and not a drop showed up, so we're just really, confused about that.
If water showed up, I'd know what to do. And I could figure something out. We couldn't find anything at all. So in this case, it was simpler to just replumb the bathrooms, which is what we did.
Right, I agree.
What do you say, Assistant City Manager, we remove that meter, have it tested so that we know for sure the meter was doing something wrong? Or
There has
we'll
been.
know at the moment the meter is tested whether it's doing anything wrong or not.
There has been.
The meter's only 40 years old.
Well,
We
think
did,
that-
we did check
Calibrate?
the date of the meter installation. The old meter was removed due to a broken lens, and a new one was installed in 2012. Now, the water service to that facility was ended in 2013 and then reactivated with your store opening. What I would advise at this point is, taking the county up on their offer, because they do have a short timeline that they offer this, and typically it's 60 days, of which we're beyond at this point. But there may be some flexibility in that if, you reach out to after this meeting. And we do offer the service to have your meter calibrated or tested. And that's where our employee will go out, remove the meter, take it back to the shop, put it on the bench, and test the flow and provide the results of that.
At no cost.
We can go out and do that. Typically, it's a $50 service fee because there's time for our employee to go out there, but we can go out and we can do that for you. And, if the results come back that it's not accurate, we can meet with you again.
I don't quite understand the formula. If you use the water consumption for the suite next door, 23, and it averaged about $35 a month for 2 months, how would we, and that included sewer, how would we have gotten to a reduced rate of $1,000-something? That doesn't make mathematical sense.
Mr. Mayor, may I make a suggestion?
Sure, go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, I think one way to remedy this is for these gentlemen get together back with the city manager, collaborate with our city manager and the meter department, sir, and Laura, and then however they resolve it, then they can come back and present it to us. I think that would be fair and fundamental.
I'd like to say one thing, though. I mean, Assistant City Manager's been amazing with helping us with this. I mean, it's not like we've not worked very hard together with trying to get this. And Mr. Dowling's not opposed to paying in excess of what he paid for the suite next door, but, to pay even $600. I mean, if there was a way to get it down to $300 or $400, he'd pay it and we can move on. But the formula doesn't make sense to where we
I
can.
think that's what Councilman Blake is saying. Go
And I think
Okay.
that
off in the
Mr. Blake
corner and
is-
work on it and come
Okay.
up with a deal that's happy to everybody, everybody.
Okay.
makes
You
everybody
say
happy.
potato.
They're giving
I
you
say-
the power to
Yeah.
do that?
Yeah,
Yes, he
tomato,
does.
tomato, man. We
And
say
you
the
know-
same
That's
thing.
pretty good about something.
I think
Yeah.
if you take care of the county issue, and then if Matt would put together an agenda item for us, so we will have like the history of when all this took place, and it's actually an agenda item for our next meeting, then if we need to take action, if you can't come up to a solution,
Right.
we need to take action. If it's an agenda item, we'll have some background and we can make a decision and vote.
It's very hard for us to sit here and shoot from the hip. If we can
Right.
see something presented to us.
Documentation.
We want to do this, then we can say yay or nay.
There'll be a line of hundreds.
And hopefully you both will be in agreement,
Right.
you and the city will be in agreement on it, and
But
we'll
that's-
go down the road.
Yeah.
If I may, Mr. Mayor, sir, I would rather you all collaborate with him and have it resolved there because I dare not touch Pandora's box. I'll be honest with you. If we can collaborate and communicate and cooperate, those Cs, you in the city of Cocoa.
So if I'm understanding correct, what you're proposing is that the Assistant City Manager sit down with us, we try to work out something, and you're giving him the authority to
Yes.
agree to something, and we can resolve this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
He's a smart guy, we trust him.
Oh, he's amazing.
Okay, Matt.
That's why we hired him.
Brown, thank you.
Yes,
Mark, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, can I surrender the floor for about 10 seconds
Sure, go
to
ahead.
Jack, please, sir, with your blessings and council's blessings?
Thank you, sir. I just had a couple of comments. You're talking about where did the water go and why don't I see water? And I just wanted to remind you of a couple of things that may help. I'm not on anybody's side here. I'm just trying to, Florida is a peninsula of basically made of sand. So keep that in mind. You can use 10 to 100,000 gallons and not even see a puddle. It doesn't shock me whatsoever. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. It's not impossible. If you look at 100,000 gallons a minute and divide it by 30 days, by 24 hours, by 12, or 24 hours and 60 minutes, it's 2.5 gallons a minute. 2.5 gallons a minute for 30 days is over 100,000 gallons.
Could that be a running toilet, Jack?
Yeah, that could easily be a running toilet. The service line is typically, 3/4 inch or 5/8 is, we're sizing that meter to run about 15 to 25 gallons a minute when you turn everything on and you need it to give you proper pressure and such. So it's, that little 3/4 inch line can deliver, 15, 20. It could even be higher if the pressure is even higher in the system. That will vary, but on average, just on average, 10, 15 gallons a minute. If it was unimpeded and there was a break or a crack in the line and it was flowing into the ground, it can flow quite a bit. If you did the math on 15 gallons a minute times 30 days and 24 hours, that's 680,000 gallons. So, again, it can be shocking that you don't maybe not see it because it's underground, but you got to remember that
That's 1/3 of the water tower.
yeah,
that I mentioned.
it's a lot of water. So,
I agree with what he's saying, and my first thought was it was a toilet or a sink, or even something leaking in the wall. We verified that it wasn't, and believe me, if there was a bad flapper, the toilet was running, I wouldn't have replumbed the suite. I wouldn't have gone through that expense.
Right.
But I mean, I understand he's correct about the sand, and yeah, we probably wouldn't see the water, but I know it was not going through the toilet. We watched the meter spin,
Okay.
and the toilet was not running, and neither was the sink, and
And
that's all in
stand
the
by
suite.
my
And I think that exact
Michael's
fact
opinion.
confirms that the problem was
Yeah, everyone
probably in the
is-
service line,
Right.
and that's downstream of the meter,
Our
and that
wishes.
obviously is your responsibility. So,
Thank you, sir.
I mean,
Thank you, Mr.
recognizing
Mayor.
that you still need to work out an
Team,
agreement,
go,
we
sir.
have
Yep.
a utilities
Everyone,
handbook that
everyone,
has the
great question.
procedure and the calculation, and you're here because you're unhappy with the result, also recognizing that it was a very limited use, and the other side only used, $20 or $30 worth of water for a month or two, and I get that. But I would just caution that if we're going to change or give Matt the authority to take a look at this, that we're changing that policy for everyone. We have to be very careful, and I'm just
Right,
going to remind you
you're
all that
absolutely right.
if we apply it to Mr. Perone and his tenant, then we are going to be changing that formula to apply to every customer from this point forward.
Yeah.
And that formula has been in place to help take away some of the sting for a problem on the customer side, which can run your bills up crazy. The fact of the matter remains is that my treatment plant spent the money, the time, and the effort to deliver the water, and whether that water was used for beneficial use through the sink, or whether it went through a broken service line and disappeared into the ground, it still passed the meter, and it's the customer's responsibility at that point.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Also, Mayor, if I
Thank you.
could, I'd like to add just one more comment, if I could. We also have bond covenants that we have to abide by as far as water credits go.
Yeah.
And we can take a look at the meter and make sure the meter's operating properly. Normally, that's a $50 charge if the meter's operating properly. I'll have Matt decide if he wants to do that calibration charge or not. But we'll have to take a good look at the bond covenants, because I'm pretty sure it limits credits for water use.
Sure, you're right. It does.
Yeah, that's why we want to send it back, because we don't want to do anything illegal, so
Yep.
go back, discuss it again, we'll come to some,
You know, as a citizen of Cocoa, it's really not a bad thing to
What's that?
help. As a citizen of Cocoa, it's really not a bad thing to help people in Cocoa and help your clients. I mean, I respect what you're saying, the water went through your meter, okay, but, this is obviously, and I'm sure there's going to be others, I'm sure there's been in the past as well, extenuating circumstances. Well, why is it a bad thing to help people in a situation like this? I just don't see that's a bad thing. You want to change the perception of Cocoa, you do it by making people really happy and being fair. I want to be fair to the water department and as well. But, this is an extreme. This isn't like a $200, I had a bill,
Ralph, I think you won.
well,
Here,
I don't know.
We said,
He beat
we
me up pretty
said,
good.
go off and make a deal, now don't talk us out of it.
Now, he was beating up on us, Ralph, not on you.
That's his
Okay.
job, man. That's his job.
Yeah.
He's just making it very clear to us.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
He was just beating up on us. He wasn't picking on you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good. Clark, thank you.
Thank you.
Matt will be in touch, right? Or vice versa? Matt, okay, good. Thank you. Lawrence Sinclair? You're up.
Lawrence Sinclair, 1052 Mitchell Street, Cocoa, Florida, 32922. Team Cocoa.
North side.
Yes, I'm the Yankee, he's the Confederate soldier.
Hey, hold up now.
We determined, I'm on the north, he's on the south. South is District 1, north is District 2. Councilwoman Brenda Warner, at your service.
The dividing line.
Yes.
Hallelujah.
Hey, all right, quick update. Approximately, we're looking around February 13th or 14th, maybe a week further than that. I am organizing a arts and sports collectible sale. I'm looking to try to get King Street Baptist Church to let us use their facility or parking lot. If not, I'll try to look somewhere closer into the village. Everything that's being put up for sale is actually being donated, and all money raised will be used to put on another Broadmoor Acres barbecue for the community, as well as use proceeds to start buying dusk to dawn security lights and LED bulbs to start installing around the neighborhood. It's not just the camera program, we're actually continuing to move forward with all of it.
Very good.
So I will send everyone an email with it. I'll actually put out some photographs and a list of things. We've got a lot of sports collectibles, signed baseballs, photographs, original art, limited edition prints. There's going to be something for everyone. Okay? Real quick on something that happened on the last meeting and something that was just said. I agree with the gentleman before me. Matt has done an exceptional job at working with some of the city departments and residents. We had an issue similar to that in Broadmoor Acres. But I also agree with what Mr. Peroni said. It is about being fair, and I think that everyone in the city of Cocoa needs to remember that fairness needs to apply completely within the city limits and not necessarily on one side of the railroad track, so to speak. And I think we do have a perception issue as far as that, and I think that should be something that the city of Cocoa should be more interested in preserving and cleaning up, as opposed to wanting to satisfy one over another, so to speak. The area still has the same problems that we have discussed. It seems like it's getting more and more bold and blatant. I do want to thank the police department. They were called to check on a property that had been burglarized once before. Chief Cantaloupe will be proud to know that 9 squad cars and a K-9 unit showed up because their dispatch accidentally said I used the word burglary when I just said, come check and make sure it wasn't being burglarized. So, but we do get police response in Broadmoor Acres now. Okay. On the issue of the waste collection contract, I know that it was tabled until next meeting, the first one in February. I probably wasn't as well spoken on the last meeting. It is an issue that I agree, and I think the city council does need to make a vote on one way or the other. I think John Tukanich said it best. Time is of the essence, considering the contract expires. I would like everyone on the council to take into consideration the current situation in Orange County that just recently did a similar situation, put the contract out for bid, awarded it, and now they've got 3 different collectors and people who haven't had their garbage picked up even once since Christmas. So if you're going to do this and it's going to go out for bid, then the process needs to start. Me personally, I think it's too late. I think that maybe it should be put out for bid on the next expiration, but that's just me personally. Either way, I do believe that a decision has to be made as far as the city is concerned with the utmost urgency, so that we don't get in the possibility of having no service pickup come September, October 1st. Okay? Thanks.
Lars,
Thanks,
thank you.
Larry.
Thanks for coming. Bernice Cox. Bernice, how you doing?
Hi, my name is Bernice Cox. I reside at 701 Aurora Street, Cocoa, Florida. I'm only going to be 3 minutes. I would like first to personally thank the city officials and Mike Blake for taking time out of the busy schedule on yesterday to visit a resident on Lemon Street. I prefer not to mention the reason. I just want to thank you and say I appreciate you. Second, back in 1995, 21 years ago, as a ride-along with Cocoa Police, back then Chief Cantaloupe was an officer then, I discovered in the core area of Cocoa needed an upgrade of streetlights from night lights to bright lights to help deter crime in our city, and most of all for the safety of our seniors in the area, afraid to come out at night. We had 70-watt lights, street lights. After a lot of no's and not in the budget, I took to the streets and did all the legwork of taking down pole numbers on every FPL pole from Lemon Street west to Aurora Street to convince the city to upgrade to 150 watts. After all that was finally approved, and the city's beautification committee paid for the upgrade. My concern tonight is South Kentucky, South Carolina, and South Georgia, north of Home Street. Back in 1995, I was told that the street light on Jackson and Home Street was sufficient for those 3 streets, which isn't true. Those 3 streets does not have one street light on it. Way before 1995, there's never been a street light on either one of those streets.
Again? Which one?
South Kentucky, North Kentucky, I'm sorry, South Georgia, South Kentucky, and South Carolina, north of Home Street.
Right.
Going to Jackson, very short streets.
Right.
The lights are on the corner of Holmes and Jackson, but they shine down onto Holmes and Jackson Street. So when you go down Holmes Street heading west, those streets are completely dark. And I would like to see if the city would look into it and maybe add a street light to those streets. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ms. Bernice. Ms. Cox? Thank you. Thank you.
We appreciate that. Good. Bob Sox?
Bob Titusville. That's my problem. I'm on it, Bob. District 1.
Bob, did you move?
No. Bob Sox, 2171 Winston Drive, Cocoa, Florida, 32926. Mayor and council, thank you. I'll be very brief. Talking about the park and go at the shops of Cocoa North. The old Winn-Dixie was going to be a Home Depot, been vacant for about 10 years. Let me tell you a real quick story. I was invited to the groundbreaking of the Homewood Suites Hotel in Cape Canaveral by Rocky Randalls, the ex-mayor. And we had the groundbreaking, and he and I were chatting. He says, Bob, he says, you know how this came about? And I said, no. He said, hotels in Cape Canaveral had to be on a 5-acre plot. He said, the Homewood Suites came to us. They couldn't find a 5-acre plot, but they found a 2.5-acre plot. And they came to me and he says, what about a 2.5-acre plot for the Homewood Suites Hotel? Mayor says, let me see what I can do. He challenged his council to make the changes that were necessary to build that Homewood Suites Hotel, which I believe is going to open on the 24th of March. First brand new hotel in Cape Canaveral, Cocoa Beach in 10 years. 50 jobs, $17 million, major tax base. I challenge you to make the changes that are necessary to make that park and go in that spot that has been vacant for over 10 years, perfect for this area. Worried about ingress and egress as far as vehicles. Normally ebarkation are the weekends when the traffic would be lighter, and also never during the rush hour. People get off the ships between 8 and 10 o'clock in the morning and board the ships between 11 and 1 or a little bit later. That will not affect the rush hour whatsoever. Port, of course, is getting very busy. That's a 15-acre plot. The gentleman who is interested in that particular piece of property, I guess, has been talking with the city of Cocoa for about 5 months. He's still very interested, but somebody has to reach out to him and give him a positive tone, because according to the article in the paper, he was a little bit disappointed. Thank you very much.
Bob, thanks for coming. Don Butterfield? Hey, Don.
Hi, Dawn Butterfield, owner of West Cocoa Pharmacy on 2711 Clear Lake Road.
Hey!
Hey, I can say that we are so proud. We're bending the cost of health care for people every day with our inexpensive programs like our $6 generic Viagra. Yay! Okay. Anyway.
I don't think you can say it. You can't say that.
That's all right.
Is that a commercial? Okay.
Yay!
I have to
I'm
pay
joking.
later.
Do you have a $6 generic birth control pill too, Don?
10. Yeah, exactly. We'll match that price. First like to thank all of the council members that I did reach out to and were able to contact. I wasn't able to communicate with, I still call you Mayor Blake, so with Mayor Blake. But I do appreciate you all being open to the citizens and especially the business owners. And that shows me that you are really, really committed to the city. Even though sometimes we may not be 100%, I do know that your heart is really in it. I am in a unique position that I get to see a lot of people every day. So I took a poll last 2 days. Everybody that came in that I got a chance, I tried to be as neutral as possible. All I said, I just explained the situation that the Home Depot lot now, they are not going to open, and they have secured a contract with a company that's interested in doing the business model that they're doing, which is a park and go shuttle service to the port. Would you be in favor or against that? Any comments? And as you can see, pretty much 100% everybody was favorable. There were 2 people that started to give reasons why it was maybe a bad idea, but then they changed, they kind of talked themselves out of it. So let's talk about the businesses in that area. There's been a couple things of, well, what would that really do for the people in Cocoa? It's just not going to bring anything to Cocoa. Well, I can tell you, I know for a fact in my business, we will see increased revenue. We get people right now that, for whatever reason, wander into our pharmacy, they find us on Google, or the people are referred to them, and they're on their way to a trip, and they need motion sickness tablets, they forgot their CPAP mask, they need a prescription emergency filled because they forgot it back at home in Alabama. So if we had several hundred of people coming a day right around the corner from where my pharmacy is, even though CVS is right there, that would be up to me to market my services to, those people. I know my business would increase. I talked to the tanning salon next door to me. They said, by far, we know this will have an impact on us because you can get a spray tan in 10 minutes. So the other businesses in that area are 2 nail places, 2 Chinese restaurants, a Bagel World, Cheers, Beef O'Brady's, Radio Shack, because you always seem to forget your phone cord, right? So you always need another phone cord to take with you on a trip. Several pizza places, and your biggest taxpayer in all of Cocoa, which is Walmart. No doubt Walmart will see an increase in business because everybody needs something at the last minute, so they all run into Walmart. So as you saw all the comments here, that the people, so the businesses would increase in revenue, and the people seem to be very favorable about it. Something I noticed about the people in the section where I work and live, I'm probably the example of the person that this could impact in a negative way if there was anything negative about it. People that live out that part of Cocoa, and Canaveral Groves and Port St. John's, where there's minimal homeowners association, they kind of like to do things their own way. They like differences. They don't really care for the cookie cutter neighborhoods with the homeowners associations and the 4 bushes and 2 trees, 4 bushes, 2 trees. Some people like that kind of thing. I think our city manager is one, which is why he chooses to live in Viera. People in that section of town are okay with different kinds of things. So if the business are going to be happy and the folks don't mind or they think it could be positive, let's talk about the big thing that company could bring to us, and that's jobs. So I thought of an analogy. Go with me on this. I'm not a very good joke teller, but there's a gentleman that isn't stranded in...
30 seconds.
Okay. That's it?
No, 30 seconds.
So I hope that the council does something tonight to reconsider your situation that you had. You have the power to change the interpretation or to direct the person that made the interpretation, because it kind of split hairs, and allow this project to go forward. It will go to site plan. You will definitely have input on it at that point, but I think Cocoa at this point needs it. I'd love to see their picture on your economic development slideshow next year. Thank you.
Don?
Don, thank you.
Don?
Go ahead.
We do not have the power to overrule the planning and zoning.
No,
Only thing we could do is like what Bob Sox said, change the rules, and that takes a little while. Can't do that tonight.
I don't know local government laws.
I'm telling you.
I understand.
We do not have the power to overrule.
From what I understand,
Planning and zoning.
if I can answer maybe, if the council is a representation of the people and staff is directed by the council, council could direct staff to, if there's an interpretation and it's 50-50, why not go on the 50% side that will actually work with this business? I mean, you can't predict all of the zoning issues down the road. This particular business did not fit exactly into any category, is what it sounded like. We can't, here's kind of a joke too. We can't now zone for the vertical garages we're going to have in the future for our spaceships. We never saw this kind of business coming, so nobody planned for it in the code. So if it comes up to interpretation, then I would hope that you could redirect staff to reconsider that.
But it can't be done immediately.
That's why we have a board of adjustment.
Yeah. And they're all citizens on that board. Everyone is a citizen of Cocoa.
Assistant City Manager.
In light of the Planning and Zoning Board decision, I don't know if Anthony is still on the line, if he could provide some context as far as the Park and Go folks.
Matt, this is Anthony. Can you hear me?
Can you turn it up a little bit?
Go ahead.
Okay. Obviously, you're referring to the Park and Go. The Park and Go application was considered by the Community Development Director, and he made a decision which was appealed to the Planning and Zoning Board pursuant to the rules that are in the city code. And the Planning Board had a quasi-judicial hearing, considered the application, the interpretations, and all the evidence and testimony presented at the Planning and Zoning Board meeting, and has issued an order upholding the Community Development Director's interpretation. So at this point, that interpretation stands subject to appeal to the Circuit Court. So the council is not in a position legally to interject its interpretation to this application, period. The only thing the council could do is, if it wanted to, would be to change the rules by modifying the zoning ordinances that impact this particular application.
Okay. And if I could add one more item, we also received inquiry from an alternate party for another use of that property just today, so.
Matt, do they have the option of going to the Board of Adjustment? I mean, Anthony, don't they get to go to the Board of Adjustment to ask for a variance on the code?
Was that a question that was directed to me?
Yes.
I'm sorry, because there's a little delay on that.
Say it again.
Well,
I could probably answer that question just as easily.
And who actually asked it? Is it a staff member asking me the question? I mean, is it the council asking me the question? Or is it coming from the audience?
Councilwoman Warner.
If it comes from the audience, I'm not sure.
It was from Warner.
Excuse me?
It was from Councilwoman Warner.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
Can you repeat it for him? Because I don't think you can hear me.
Can the Board of Adjustment intervene
If the Board of
on a
Adjustment
decision
had the authority,
of
the
the
question was if the Board of Adjustment had the authority to change the decision, right?
Can't they take it to the Board of Adjustment?
Shouldn't they went to Board of Adjustments?
Does not
Really?
have the authority to change the Planning and Zoning Board's decision regarding the site plan application. Not the way the code is currently written.
Okay.
But can't they take it to the Board of Adjustment and ask for a variance?
No.
Why not?
So, gotta go in front of the judge.
That's not the application, and I don't believe that this particular use is subject to a special, a conditional use / special exception. I don't think it's listed as such.
Okay.
Okay. All right, thank you. Don, thank you.
How you doing?
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Brad Whitmore?
Yeah. He didn't hear you. He didn't hear you.
He didn't hear you.
That's in District 3, right, Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, you heard that, didn't you?
He did hear
You
it.
heard that one.
All right.
He did.
Brad, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Brad Whitmore, 351 Rockledge Drive, here through Bobby's at Parkside, my wife's boutique in the village. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council, staff. I'm here just to float an idea. Gathered a little momentum of bringing business into the village, and there seems to be a rising tide of interest in the dog element, and that is marketing Cocoa Village as a more dog-friendly place. I know through other involvement that the vast majority of merchants in the village state that they are dog-friendly establishments. I know that there's an effort to create doggy comfort stations that are a little bit artistic with bowls and bags and neat artwork. And the only thing that I can think of that would be better than that to bring dogs in would be for the city to authorize dogs being able to run wild. And by that,
Brenda's for that.
and by that, I mean, I think it would be great to create, even if it's just a small area, but an off-lead dog run for parks that we could market and say, bring your dogs, get them some exercise, go shop and spend your money.
That's what I'm gonna do with Lee Winter Park.
Perfect. If you could find a place in or by Lee Winter Park, that would be great because it's central, but somewhere within walking distance to anywhere in the village would be highly desirable. There are several pieces of land that people have discussed about possibilities, either for purchase or for lease or for goodwill, to put up a fence. And even if it's not a big park like Pluck and Bomb or out on Cocoa Beach, even just a small one, it would be a huge step in the right direction. I think it'd be viable as a marketing tool to enhance our dog-friendly presence.
Redco Park.
The key to it is within walking distance of the shops of the village, to where somebody with their dog can come park, take the dog, go walk the dog, go shopping. That's it.
Okay.
That idea was floated at the Economic Development as one of the ideas of a cool thing we could do in the city. Another cool thing was a T-shirt, a Market Cocoa T-shirt. One of the more popular designs that came from a number of the groups was something featuring the water tower. So I think that's a great, and this is an aside here, I'm just saying this before I go sit down.
Sounds like one of my ideas.
Well, it was.
Go ahead, Ambassador.
That was one, but I think a great caption on it would be, "We're number one, thanks a lot." So,
A good business ought to get into that.
Yeah.
That's not for the city to do.
yeah,
A
I'm
good
just
business
mentioning
ought
it for the thought for consideration.
And
But
I was-
an off-lead dog area would be a great idea, in my opinion. Thank you very much.
to- Yeah, I would agree
Hi,
with
Brad.
that.
You can bring your children down.
And I was at the village merchants meeting where there was
Thanks.
some discussion about promoting the dog friendliness of the village, so.
That sounds like
they
something
are
belongs
working
in
on it.
District 1.
There will probably be a more formal statement coming out of HCBA regarding the same. I just wanted to run with the idea and float it to get people thinking along those lines.
698-1015, sir. 698-1015. I expect a phone call, sir.
There you go. Hi, Brad. Okay, that concludes the delegations. We'll go to consent.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, on this next item, the only item under multi-year contracts, you have before you approval of an agreement between the City of Cocoa and Aegis Software. And I just want to preface this with post submittal of the agenda item, it was discovered that the documents, as far as the legal terms and conditions, were in fact prior, from the prior agreement. And we have since requested from them the updated agreement, and what we're asking for City Council's approval tonight is for approval of the Business Points product and technology, and as well as approve, subject to city attorney review, of the terms and conditions as they are received, of which they provided us, an estimated timeline of within the week.
Okay, Councilman Blake?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I got a question toward Matt, sir, Mr. Mayor and council members. Is this applicable for the phone service because it's stating operating information technology? Is this applying also here at I'm asking this for a reason, for City Hall, because just as we were having a delayed reaction with Esquire Garganese, I've called here, and I'm sure other council members have called here, sir.
Yep.
And we get that delayed reaction or static, and it's horrible.
It's delayed, you can't even speak.
Yes, it's, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not slam dunking anyone. If we're experiencing that, I'm sure our customers are experiencing that as well, equally. So my question is, if we approve this, does this enhance the telephone reception here at City Hall and surrounding areas as well, sir?
Yes, and Councilman Blake, this is a separate issue. This is regarding the police dispatch software, fire dispatch software, but with regards to the telephone system, the city manager has signed a contract to provide a dedicated network line of communication line for the phone system to run through, which will eliminate that jitter and lag.
When will that happen?
And implementation is potentially within this week. We have one more partner that needs to complete their connection here at City Hall, and the process will be complete.
Okay.
So you're looking for a motion for this strategic plan connection? Is that what you're looking for, sir?
Yes.
And you can assure me of this, right? And I'm down with public safety for the police department and fire department, as our cohorts are as well. So on that note, sir, I would like to make a motion to approve resolution waiving the competitive bidding process by reason of sole source for the New World System, approve the multi-year premier software maintenance agreement, and also authorize Daddy John, city manager, to approve and sign the license agreement.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Yeah, Mayor, this is Anthony. That's of course subject to
Right,
the
Right.
negotiation of the general terms and conditions.
right.
Okay, yep.
See,
See.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Yeah.
Is there anybody in the audience from the advisory board or committee that would like to speak? I think we're,
Cierto.
go city administration then. Ed, nothing?
Yes, Mayor and Council, one quick thing, the US 1 project. Matt asked me to bring you an update on the US 1 project.
Yes.
Obviously, they've switched sides of the road. We'll be having a meeting actually tomorrow to start looking at the landscape and the streetscape items that the city will be involved with. So they're to that point of getting close to.
No, say it again, is that US 1?
That's US 1. So
They're actually coming along pretty well now.
they're coming along. They got both sides. Now they got to get the middle. So
I even hear the businesses on US 1 getting excited, you know?
I walked into a
Yeah.
business at 5 o'clock today, down there, around 528, and they're all looking at me, and I said it before they said anything to me. I go, when is this road going to get done? But that's good news. We've noticed they've elevated the other lane, and it's under construction. So
Right.
it's starting to move. They're serious about it.
the pipes are all in. The curb and gutters
Yeah.
mostly in. Even the sidewalks mostly in. Streetlights are getting put in on most of it. So they'll get both outside lanes done, and they'll move to the middle, rip some of the asphalt out for the islands and the traffic dividers and things like that. So
Good.
we're getting close. The official adjusted completion date, which I don't believe is February 26th. I would add a few months to that for total completion. But that's what the latest update was. Anybody want to guess when that work started?
Oh,
2012, sir.
3/18/13.
13.
March 18th
That's
through
right.
13. So it's been a long time.
It's been a long time.
It'll be 3 years.
So we're going to be 3 years at least.
Yep. So,
But am I, Ed, am I correct in assuming that actually the hard work, the work that took a while has been done? This resurfacing and stuff is the easier work.
they put pipes up to 60 inches in diameter, up
Yeah,
to
we've
10
seen
feet
that.
deep.
Yeah.
They replaced all the water, all the reuse lines, so they, all that's been done, and that's a lot of.
That's
work
the
you
stuff
don't
that takes
see.
a long time to do.
Takes a long time, then they gotta switch it over, get rid of
Right.
the old stuff, and it's a very involved.
So that, maybe that's why it looks like it's going faster now, is because this is the easier stuff to do. We're down to
Right,
the.
you're above ground and you're
Right.
not dealing with the, all the buried stuff that doesn't look like you're doing it.
One day it'll all be over.
Yeah.
My gosh.
It's getting closer. But also on another note, we got a report that at 520 and Friday Road, that intersection has been modified by DOT. They've made it a right-in, right-out, basically, on Friday Road, and that was, we received notification a few months ago that they were going to plan to do that. There's been quite a few very serious accidents involving fatalities. DOT has recognized that a signal is direly needed there.
Amen.
The funding isn't there, and they, because they can't get the signal in right now, they are proposing to make it a right-in, right-out until they can get the signal funding in about a year.
But they have to,
It's a very dangerous intersection.
Absolutely.
they gotta light it up. The intersection is too dark.
That'll probably be part of the intersection
But
improvement.
that was the last night, and
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we will definitely let DOT know that lighting should be also looked at.
And also, just a quick thing, would you, remember how we were talking about the Peachtree project and then Lake Drive, how it hits Lake Drive, and Lake Drive so dark, and it is in need of sidewalks and some lighting. At some point, very soon, I'm going to drive out there with the county commissioner. He wants to go, and I'm going to be pushing this end. But if your connection over at the county, I mean, I kind of give those guys a heads up that it's a need.
We have let them know that.
Yeah.
And,
County commissioner wants to do it.
right.
So that's-
By the same token, we notified them about Jackson Street, and that
Yeah.
project's done.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
You
Yeah, they
can
stepped up,
take a
didn't they?
sidewalk almost from Clear Lake all the way to VAR.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Okay.
they listen.
Yeah, they do. They do.
All right.
Okay, Ed, thanks. Great. Terry, nothing? Okay. Chief Gallup?
No report, sir.
No, good. Chief Prince?
No report, sir.
Sir. Steve?
I just want to give an update on the mangrove permit for in Lee Winter Park. The permit has actually been issued. Friday. I know, we were in shock as well.
Brad, the swamp. That's the swamp. So, okay.
Let me get Ryan on the phone right
Now
now.
that
That's right.
includes some
Ed
trees
and
on
Justin,
the river,
too.
right, too?
Yes, that includes,
Brazilian peppers and that.
and all along the T-Dock area, the whole length of that area there, and around the retention pond there as well. So they pretty much, I want to say almost pretty much everything we asked for, they have permitted. So we're going to be able to, we'll be able to knock it down to a certain degree, and we'll be able to window it open, so it'll really open things up quite a bit. So at this point, it's just a matter of go out and getting quotes and getting somebody on board.
Somebody else might say something, but Steve, get rid of all the trees other than the mangroves, okay? And then trim them, because we gotta be, safety reasons, we gotta be able to see in that place. If we cut this halfway, there's gonna be a lot of people disappointed. Plus, the previous county commissioner, no names, I've met with him a couple of times, talked to him several times, his staff, they couldn't get this done. They were too focused to cross the bridge there. But this is a huge entrance in and out of the Port of Cocoa. Please take it all down.
Well,
Legally.
right, and we're going to,
Okay.
the permit is very specific on what we can and can't do, and we will obviously follow it to a T, but I think we'll be pleased with the outcome of it, from what they've allowed us to do, so
Okay,
it'll be a big improvement.
okay.
Mr. Mayor, can I ask a question? Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Steve, in reference, telephone, illuminating that area, lighting it up, sir. I know we have like one pole right down the corner there, but it's surrounded by shrubbery, bushes, vegetation, et cetera, et cetera. Are we gonna have potentially, in the future, continued lighting throughout the park, that area, potentially?
Well, that's something to look at, and obviously, we're looking at the future ownership of that park. And
Thank you, brother. I was getting ready to say, let me be the
If that were to
400-pound man,
happen,
10-pound.
then obviously we would have more control over that situation.
Okay.
Actually, I think if you go down there at night, you find out the lighting's not so bad, you get rid of some of those bushes, you know.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Well, you know,
I
Yeah.
concur.
And that will help a lot, just doing that will help a lot. And it'll give a better sense of security, it
we want to
won't
take the
seem
scary
so
out of
secluded.
it. And down the road, I'm going to be asking for fencing, you know, between the causeways and making it more, we can see through everything, because we got to make this really safe. It's a huge alternative for parking and uses.
We're also looking at expanding the number of day docks in that area, so that'll bring more activity in that little area as well, and make it a little more sense of security in there as well, so.
Yeah. Has the county called you about anything further about the agreement on Lee Winter?
I wouldn't be able to speak on that, maybe the assistant city manager can.
Matt, you know anything?
Our legal staff is currently drafting the agreement.
Great, okay. Great. And it'll be off and running. Okay, thank you. Is that it?
Yep, that's it, sir.
Jack?
Yes, sir. Maybe two items. I have a presentation that I've been working on for a while. It's a summary of capital accomplishments and monies expended in the program for the utility, you know, for the year that I typically do. I usually try to do it around December or January, but it's slipped a little bit this year. So I'm trying to complete that. I need to get a copy to John when he gets back, or to Matt too. And at that time, then we'll schedule either a council meeting or a special meeting, depending on your leisure. I have a lot of information to go over, and it's really up to you.
Great.
How to accomplish that at your disposal. And then the second item is I'm also speaking at a water summit next week for some leaders in Brevard County. I think they gave me about half an hour to 45 minutes. I got about 15 or 20 slides I've prepared. Talk about water resources and so on, and where water comes from, basically, is the topic. And it's geared for basically non-engineers, just very general. But I'll be doing that on behalf of the city for that summit.
I'll make a
next week.
prediction. Very good. We're looking forward to your presentation.
Thank you.
And we need to hear that.
good,
Stay
sir.
current.
Yeah,
Also,
I'd like to hear that as soon as possible.
whenever you can, please do it and schedule it. But also, I'll make a prediction. Brevard County is going to grow in a really good way the next 10 years. I mean, in a big way. And I think you're going to see a lot more hookups.
And I have some slides on that, too.
Ah, good. Yes, good. You know, I know too. Okay. Thank you. Tam-
No report, sir.
Thank you. Gary, anything you want to say?
No report.
All right, so we'll move on to Anthony, you out there?
Yeah, I'm here. No report.
No report. Super attorney?
Bad on the beat.
Oh, okay. Good. Sorry about New England. Okay.
I would have kicked the field goal on that, on the water. That would have been the difference.
All right. Thank you. Assistant City Manager.
Just a couple of items. We do have the Mardi Gras event approaching in Parade, February 20th. We did confirm with Duderman Productions that he's offering a position in the parade. We can ready the fire truck. If there's any interest, you can reach out to myself, and we'll coordinate with the fire department and get someone to drive it.
That's
I'd
an
say
important
yes.
part, to have somebody to drive it.
No, let me try. You want to? Yeah.
You want to talk to those drivers first before you do that?
Get out of the way.
And then secondly, I did want to mention in your informational packet, you do have an inventory of the parks and facilities within the
Yes,
city
sir.
available for naming. You can review through that list and provide your feedback.
Mhm.
And that's it.
Can I ask him a question, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
On a jovial note, excuse me, sir, on a jovial note, Uncle Matt, tell us about this young man that's, not him, his beautiful wife, just recently had a baby girl. Can you expound on that a little bit, sir?
Yeah, you may have noticed City Manager John Tikanich is not here tonight. Last Thursday, his wife gave birth to their daughter, Charlotte, a little over 6 pounds. They're all healthy, all at home, and maybe they're watching us out there tonight.
I'm sure the city manager's watching.
That's right. Scout.
And
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
you didn't win this,
No, he did well.
but the other guy usually wins it.
Hey, you know what? Maybe we ought, John and Deborah ought to have more babies and then.
Oh! Yeah, he's probably.
We can get them for cheaper costs, right? That'll help our budget, but I'll leave that alone.
That's pretty good. All right, we'll keep going. Is that it?
I know.
Trouble. Good?
I'm good.
Brenda?
I'd just like to say congratulations to Deborah and John. Miss Charlotte is absolutely beautiful, for those who have not seen her picture. And I just have I don't have a report, but I do have a question for Jack. There's been a lot of attention on water in the news lately, thanks to Flint, Michigan. And
I had noticed.
I've had some people question me about the age of and the condition of our water pipes. I would just like for you to take a moment to explain to people why we're not Flint, Michigan.
Okay, yeah, I can do that. What happened in Flint, Michigan, I think there's a failure at a lot of levels, and I think it really comes down to also testing and treatment, that they knew that they were switching their water source, but yet they did not. They chose not to change their treatment system, which baffles me. And
Strange.
you know, there's still a lot of information that still needs to come out of that investigation, but that certainly is a big part of it. And just with respect to our own system, so how, you know, I'm sure people are wondering, well, could that happen here? Could I be being poisoned? And I can tell you that as part of our regular requirements, I think they're quarterly, we go and take actual samples from the tap. Our lab goes, identifies customers who have lead pipes. We go to check their, and I'm talking about downstream of the meter. We don't have any lead identified in our system, other than there may be joints that were soldered by hand 50 or 80 years ago, very, very small area, but we don't have any lead pipes that would create a significant problem. Where the problems typically lie are downstream of the meter, where there are lead service lines or lead plumbing fixtures and whatnot that are used downstream in the home. And so the way that we monitor that is to try to identify through our conservation officer and through our lab manager the homes that have lead line pipes or that are suspected. Even if they suspect it, we'll put them on a list. And we go out there, we take samples, we run them to the lab, and we look for the results. And obviously, if there's a problem, then we notify the customer. But typically, we haven't had problems, and one of the reasons why is because we have an exception to our permit, our standard, what you would call your water standards that are, you know, across the country. We have an exception to put out water at a higher pH. And by doing that, it calcifies the inside of the pipes a little bit more than normal, and that creates that protective coating on the inside of a lead pipe that doesn't allow lead to continue to leach. And so when we've been doing that for many, many years, and we believe that that certainly can contribute to controlling any lead that we don't know about or that, you know, that is potentially out there, it basically creates that buffer so that the water is never actually, you know, in contact. Now over these years, it's not directly in contact anymore because that calcium carbonate builds up that white line, that white calcium that builds up on your shower a little bit. That hardness builds up on the inside of the pipe, and that can create a safe zone for the water to flow to our customers.
Okay, thank you.
So in essence, if I may ask, we're being proactive.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Great. Don, you're good? Yeah, okay. Tyler?
Yeah, just two simple things tonight. Number one would be, we have job openings. I said this last time. Tammy, what do we got open? We got quite a few nice things open.
Yeah, we have quite a few. We have an engineer, staff accountant. Terry's going to say that. Several maintenance positions open. I mean, all over the place. We've expanded. Brian's doing more recruitment at some of our local job boards. Like he's has a lot of contacts with Goodwill and with Salvation Army. They have a new vet, or I think it's a Salvation Army that has a new veterans recruiting process that we're going to be one of the pilot city companies, if you will, to pilot to help get more veterans employed. So we have a lot of different outreach programs that we're trying to implement. Number one, to help our good faith efforts to help bring more minorities and veterans on board, and two, help get those jobs filled. So we're putting together a plan to get those filled.
Very good, thank you. Just want to make sure that people know we got.
Oh, yeah,
You need a
and-
job, we got some stuff to do.
And a lot of, if anybody has an issue with the computer, we have a computer right here in City Hall where you can fill out an online application. And if you need help with that, say you're handicapped or you just don't want to, you have trouble working a computer, we can help you with your employment application
Great.
process.
My second item tonight is dead animals on residential city streets. Ran into one. Somebody else ran into it. I found the buzzards out there dragging it all over the residential street. My concern is, and I talked to Ed and Rhonda, and they said, well, the county won't pick those up, and we don't normally have a policy to do it either. Ed managed to get it done, and I appreciate that, and the gentleman who actually went out and did it. But I think we need some sort of a service like this. If the county's not going to do it, I think this was an opossum or a raccoon or something,
Well,
whatever
we
it was.
actually pay the county
It was
to
up
do
by
it.
your house.
Yeah.
But they won't come get them unless they're a domesticated animal, right, Ed? Okay, possum is not a domestic. Anyway, what I'm concerned about is I know when I was a kid, we found a dead possum on the road, we'd be over there sticking it with sticks and playing with it and touching it. And I'm kind of a little bit worried about what diseases things like this can be carrying, raccoons and blah,
We
blah,
didn't
blah.
worry about that when we were kids, did we?
No, we didn't, and neither will kids today. If they
Exactly.
see something like that, I think we have an obligation, Matt, and I wish you'd look into this, to get dead animals off the road when they're spotted. I don't care what kind of animal they are. If the county will pick up part of them, but won't pick up another part, I think then we're going to have to find a way to do it. That's what I'm asking for. Because I don't think it's good to have those dead animals laying around in residential
Well, if
neighborhoods.
the county's not going to do it, can we quit paying them?
Yeah, that's another good
Question.
good point, you know. But I just think we need to, Matt, that's something I think you guys need to work on is, you know, and I realize the situation and you know, our guys aren't really equipped to go do that, you know. And
Can I ask a question behind that?
sure you can.
Do you think our collection of waste would come by and scoop them up or anything like that? I'm just
It's a good question.
I mean, it may be something that we can use as a negotiation tool or
That's
whatever.
a good question.
I don't know. I'll just let you all handle all that, but I'm just curious.
They'll end up in a dumpster anyhow.
I think deputy mayor's job.
Yeah, that's the deputy mayor's job. Go by and scoop it up. Trash is
The buzzards are not going to be happy with you, Tyler.
No, I know, but you know, I'm seriously concerned about some little kid will come along
Absolutely.
like I used to do and go, ooh.
Well, I pick them up, I'll just dump them in your driveway.
Oh, boy.
And I'll end then with
Yes,
buy
sir.
local.
Buy local.
Thank you.
Great one. Great one, sir.
Mr. Blake?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First of all, I want to say good afternoon and welcome, good evening, and welcome back, Deputy Mayor Bover. It's good to see you back, have your face in the place with the human race, so let's give him a round of applause. Hey, hoo-ah, hoo-ah. We had the opportunity to meet the new 45th Space Wing Commander, Brigadier General Wayne R. Monteith. We had the opportunity to meet with him at our Civ Mill dedication, so that went well, and Sergeant Morris was there, and Glenn Outlaw family received his historical award, and I'm happy to say that went well. Glad for you addressing the telephone issue and services here at City Hall, Matt. Excuse me, I'm finally becoming a man, I guess. I'm going through that change in life. This past weekend, we had the homegoing celebration of one of our truest Cocoans, even though he was from Mississippi, Coach Jerry Lott. He was my high school coach, and we coached at Cocoa High School together. He's a good old boy, he's a great man, and he served our community well. Jerry was not always politically correct, as we stated at his homegoing celebration, but he served the citizens in our community well. So I thank you very much. Mr. Weegriff, could you expound on, I know we are coming down to Peachtree Street and the conclusion of that. They've completed I think they're like on the whatever west side or south side, I'm read, that the traffic is flowing on there, on the south side of Peachtree Street. and-
Yes.
Could you expound on that, sir?
Yes, Peachtree Street, the contractor started on the west side, on the south part of the street. He proceeded through Fisk Boulevard on the south side, went on the east side of Fisk on the south side, turned around and came back into the north side, and now he's headed back. He's near VAR, between VAR and Fisk. They've actually had a utility crossing across Fisk Boulevard, so they're, on their home stretch, they're laying the pipe from VAR to Fisk on the north side, the drainage pipe, and they'll be wrapping that up within about a month or so.
Super fantastic. Seeing that I have you there near Peachtree Street, could you elaborate also on, we demolished that enterprise zone area, that building right there on Lake Drive and 520. I think it's going to be a probation office, so could, Steve, Mr. Belden, could you expound on that for me, please, sir?
Yes, sir. That building was demolished by the Centennial Group. They purchased the property, and they are going to be contracting, they're going to be building the building for the state probation office, and they're anticipating the summertime moving in, having the building constructed, and I think they're looking at July.
Fantastic. It is due west of King Street Baptist Church.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yes, sir, the
Okay.
interlock,
Yeah.
yes, sir. Now, one other thing, aesthetically pleasing, the back side or the south side of the building will be facing 520, correct, sir? So if people want to access that area or be accessible to that area, they would have to come around it, I guess, like on Ohio Drive or Ohio Street, whatever.
Correct, that's correct. The entrance will be on the back side, the main entrance for people coming in, and so it's actually they'll go VAR, then they can come in VAR off of Ohio.
Yes, sir.
They're going back that way. The front the front will have a nice facade, very decorative. It's going to look very nice. You've seen what they've done down here, so they do quality work. And
Absolutely.
it'll be a very attractive office building.
Now, and then there's one more other concern about that location, which is great. The traffic light, sir. The traffic light and the amount of time, and I know you guys are going to tell me, it's state operated, going from, red, yellow to green, and then from green to red. It's a short period of time, sir, and I think if we could, seeing that the volume will increase, maybe the people can have a longer, extended time coming off Lake Drive, going into Bar Avenue, et cetera, crossing over all 4 lanes of 520. If we could look into that, Matt and Steve, I sincerely would appreciate that. Also on Blake and 520, the same episode. Many people, that I constantly get that phone call. One other thing, Florida Avenue, Mr. Weigriff or Steve, or potentially in the immediate future, will be some modification on that area, sir?
Yes, sir. The LAP agreement, I believe, is on the agenda tonight.
Correct.
The LAP agreement, basically where we get funding from the state, we approve that tonight. So it'll be going out to bid. The bids will go out in February, and construction will start after that. That's funded partially through LAP funds, through the federal funding through the Florida Highway Association, Federal Highway Association. So we're getting federal funds, which means there's a lot of extra hoops to jump through and so forth. But
Yes, sir.
We're getting over $900,000 towards this project.
Yes, sir, and I thank you very much, sir. And last but not least, thank you, Mr. Weigriff. Thank you all staff. I want to steal a page from my good friend. I saw him happily, eagerly walking through the one of the greatest districts, number one. My cohort here, Councilman Furbish, he was getting his daily exercise in, and if I can steal his famous saying, buy local, spend local, keep it local. Thank you very much.
If I had known I was walking in District 1.
Mr. Mayor, thank you. Cohorts, council
Very
members,
good.
thank you, and staff, thank you.
All right, let me end this long meeting. Let me end this. A week and a half ago, we did the MLK March and
Yes,
program, Cocoa Riverfront Park. That was a great, it was a good day. It was kind of cold, but it was a beautiful day. Also, Rice Central, which is a church at Michigan and
Yes,
and US 1. They did their community counts, and it's basically what they do
What
is
district is that in?
they basically had 350 people, and I forget, teams of like 15 and 20 people, and they renovated mostly painting and cleaning yards and some custom work, 35 houses, and then I think they did 19 in the city limits. And so I spent time and thanked everybody. But I tell you, they were turning around streets, you know. It was amazing. They did it for 2 days, and we went to the banquet on a Sunday evening. It was a great event, and hopefully they'll do it again next year. I challenged them to do it again. And it was year 4, so next year would be year 5.
All right.
Also, Lorraine Koss and Lawrence Koss, thank you. These are the point people who did a progressive dinner the other night, Saturday night, to benefit the Indian River Lagoon, and they had Miss Soto there, the chairman of the Marine Resources Council. She spoke. I think it was $100 a head, and most of that money went to. There's probably 30 people there, so or more.
Mhm.
It went to the Marine Resources Council in behalf of, I guess, the biggest thing that's going to happen within months. There's going to be a report card that's going to come out. And it's supposed to be pretty scientific on the condition of the river and the lagoon. So it should be good. And also, last thing is this. I know Samantha, our PR person's doing a, what is it, Matt? The like on Facebook, it's where you, if you want to improve cocoa, I lost it.
Survey.
Community
Survey.
Survey?
Thank you. It's a survey. And initially, she did it maybe a week ago or 3-4 days ago, and there was some pretty nasty comments. And I looked at the people that were leaving comments like the good old boys, or why don't you worry about something else other than the village and the river road. And I looked at these people, and I think one lives in the county, and everybody else lives out in like Rockledge or Merritt Island. I just thought it was kind of nasty. But I could read through a lot of the comments. I think it was 17. I shared it over today just to make a point that we are working on the interior. And this is the downtown of the greatest city. Okay, we have a downtown. Okay? So, as Ed knows and the council knows, we are cleaning up our interiors. We are building, putting in more sidewalks and improving lighting. And we are doing Peachtree, which was considered a blighted area with a village quality street when it's done. We're also going to do Fisk with a village quality street. And then we're going to finish Dixon, which for some reason 10 years ago they didn't finish the Boulevard of Dixon. And so we're going to bring the theme is going to, when we're done years from now, a few years from now, that you're going to have the theme going through your suburbs of where you live. Other cities, like south of us, can't do that. They don't have a downtown, okay? So let me put it this way. I'll speak for the council, we are going to clean up the interior of Cocoa. We are doing it now, and it'll never be the same. And the other side of it is, we're the best city. We are the best city in the county. And let me tell you something. We may be like the third most growing, number 3 on the list, because Vieira is growing. We know West Melbourne is doing a good job. But a lot of people want to see us do well. So that's what we're doing, and you're going to hear more about this in the coming months from me. But we're not going to stop. Like Larry's over here, he's turning around 168 houses. We got Paul Falk, that the chief and I are going to be talking to, and College Green, that wants to do a lot of things that Larry's doing. And we're taking the town back. And guess what? The other towns are going to probably not benefit from what we're going to do. And we're going to do it. So thank you. And I'm ready. I'm done. Thanks for coming.
Motion
Second.
adjourned.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Thank you.
You follow up on what you were just saying.
Hey, good night.
Good night.
Big time.